to EUL Playday number 5, and we are about to get things underway. We are kicking things off tonight with a matchup between Pawns and Outsiders. One team that is a little bit on the up in the side of Pawns, and another a little bit on the way down, struggling for results in Outsiders. Pawns, Hap, let's start off with the team that have been surprising us over the last couple of Playdays.
I mean, the surprising 2-7 against BDS. They did a bit better against Wolves. That 5 rounds, you know, they were a round away from picking up a single point. That could have been huge, because if they got that single point, it would have been equal now with Outsiders on the scoreboard here, and it would have been an even more important matchup. But currently, they find themselves a point below. They find themselves in the relegation danger at the end of the year, and you're kind of going to be competing with Outsiders at the end of it, and Team Secret. So you got to pick up these points now to truly set yourself for 2023.
I have such a hard time seeing where this game is going to go.
Because this is what I mean.
Yeah, as you said, one team is kind of on the up and another team is kind of on the down. And I think this game depends more on if Outsiders show up today or if they decide to have another off day. Because when we see Outsiders performing and doing really well, they do really well. And then we have those days where it's like they're not on the server at all. So either we get a top performing Outsiders or we get a bottom performing Outsiders. And I think that's going to have more of an impact on what sort of team shows up from Pawns. Because I think Pawns are more consistent, but they might not have the same amount of the highest high as Outsiders do.
Certainly been more competitive over the last couple of Playdays. Pawns, as you said, you know, still losses, yes, but they've just felt a little bit. They've just felt a little bit like there's something that they're going to get going. Whereas for Outsiders, it just seems to be slipping back a little bit. We can have a look at the Outsiders team as well, of course. Fabian, as you said, consistency a little bit of an issue for this Outsiders team.
Yeah, Jack have been talking quite a lot about how they've been playing the game in attack, especially, and it's been poking, that they take a small piece of area and then they hope that the defenders makes mistakes. They got punished quite harshly in their last game. Obviously, they lost 6 defenses, so it's not like they lost in their attack. But what they have been having problems with is individual decision-making just haven't been looking good. They've been peeking things that they shouldn't peek, that they don't have information on, and they do it all on their own. We're seeing 2 players struggling quite heavily, both in FMX and in Rask, and they kind of just need to step up their individual performance for the team to be able to shine. It's kind of rough when you see 2 people having that kind of a gap between -15 and up to the next player's ±0. So the plus-minus do matter. It's not the most important thing in the world, but when you keep kind of having up and down performances, but there are two players that are just continuously kind of falling behind, you need to have those guys starting to shoot back.
It's a shooter game at the end of the day, right? Like we always say, like, kills are not everything, but you still need to probably put more on the board than your opponent, because it helps you get the diffuser down, helps you play the objective a little bit better. And you said about their attacking strategy, how they like to poke, but they got basically completely annihilated by Rogue, who did just that. They poked, they got a kill, they hold back, they take it easy, they check whatever is possible, and suddenly they execute and they win it. And that seemed to be their weakness there. So I really hope that they're going to be able to do something more in the entry battle there.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Well, let's have a look and see just exactly which map those entry battles will be taking place on. We can bring our map bands up and see where we are going to. And it is going to be a choice at the end for Outsiders between Oregon and I said that strangely. Oregon. I pronounced the on at the end a lot there, didn't I? The choice between Oregon and Chalet. It's going to be Chalet that Outsiders pick.
It's understandable if you look at it, because the last bandit they have, it's in Oregon. And Pawns have been playing well in Oregon. So I understand why Outsiders decide to ban that and also go, well, they become forced right into Chalet and to play Defender first, which the map is fairly attacker favored. I think 68% or something like that in attacker wins. So yeah, it's a map that I think can fit both themes, but it's hard to say, because now we have to look at, will the players in Outsiders step up individually, because they have very talented players. Will they step up individually to the degree where they will win the game? Or will Pawns keep doing what they've been doing, which is good team play, and pick apart Outsiders? That's the 2 things that I think can really shine up for each teams. It's just depending on which one of them shows up.
We've run prior showing of Pwns on Chalet during this stage. It was up against Heroic. They started off on the defense, got only 2 rounds, and then had 3 opportunities to start getting some attacking rounds on themselves. They got none. It was a 2-7 loss against Heroic in the very first Playday, the very first game we had. So that might have also played into the choice of why to go to Chalet instead of Oregon, because they have played there. They didn't seem to be in their best state, so there might be something they can use there.
I just hope that they don't underestimate Pwns, because we've been seeing Outsiders as, since they picked up this new roster in Pwns, we've been seeing Outsiders as the better Russian team. I know for a fact, because I asked Outsiders why they struggled so much against Na'Vi, and they said, we underestimated them on Clubhouse. I really hope that they do not underestimate Pwns, because Pwns has been going upwards and they've been playing really well. They are for sure capable of beating Outsiders.
Well, there's only 2 questions left, and that is who will win our first game of Pwns and Outsiders, and whether I can beat the transition and get over there before it ends, because it's going to be Des and I casting. So we'll pass you over to the game.
Run like the wind.
He ain't that fast. Ages really wore on his knees. He can't run like he used to be able to, unfortunately, Tim. But sadly, he's made it anyway. First game of the day coming up here for you. A very exciting one, Tim. I've been really excited about this one. How'd you enjoy the hosting, by the way?
Oh, it's a nice change, isn't it?
You know what?
It's a nice change, isn't it?
When I've got buttons to press. Buttons.
You see, you know, a good duo would have had me covered there, but no, just leaves me to flounder. The hosting's been a nice little change. It's, you know, but I'm glad to be back, Des. You're back in Paris. We can do a bit of casting.
We can. It's good. It's a good point, actually. I've been away for 2 weeks. It's been a while, and I'm sat next to your gorgeous face again. Look at you.
Too kind.
I've
caught the sun a bit. That's what the glow is. It's sunburn.
Mate, you cannot be in Paris and not catch the sun right now. It is ever present, it feels.
It's crazy hot at the minute. I think we're supposed to get up to about 35 by Wednesday.
I got here like, I think 8:15. I landed last night, and it was still...
As did I.
Yeah, it was bright.
I think I saw you at the airport, actually.
Oh, did we get in the same taxi? No, no way, did we?
might have done.
That'd be well weird.
How do they build that synergy?
How do they build that synergy? It's just one of those, we're outside. It still feels like it's literally the middle of the day, even though you can see the sun climbing through the sky. It's the sun. The moon. The sun is going down at that time of day, but the moon was indeed in the sky. Anyway, let's see if the sun will set on one of these teams in what is setting up to be a Russian derby here. Pwns coming up against Outsiders. Chalet, as we've already mentioned. Outsiders keeping form and banning away the Thatcher, the same as they did in both of their games back in Stage 1.
As you say, Thatcher gone. Buck will follow. Not too much of a surprise on Chalet, but not a ban that we see.
Not a ban we see.
Indeed. Not a ban that we see too often. The Chalet use particularly is getting down in garage, opening up both floors and making it very difficult to hold trophy stairs and the top of Solarium. You know, that's one of the particular uses for Buck here. Obviously pushing onto games, it can be useful as well. Getting above, get control of library, open up a lot of soft floor there. I suppose you could arguably use Buck underneath in the main entrance area as well to blast out the wall below the half wall where you would look to breach for a master and office push. Quite a few use cases for Buck, but not one that we see too popular.
No, very versatile, I think, as an operator is why you're looking to take it away here. There'll be questions, no doubt, raining in from around the world. Why not ban the Finker? We've already had that conversation on the desk earlier on. Just a ridiculously powerful operator at the moment. I think it was Spoy earlier on who compared her to Exodia from Yu-Gi-Oh! Saying, no, in fact, I lied, it wasn't Exodia, it was Thanos. Completely the wrong series I'm thinking of there. The whole thing being literally has all the Infinity Stones. The only downside to her is that she's a 2-speed. And I'm like, if that's the only downside you can complain about with someone, it tells you just how valuable she really is. Either way, first site's going to be kitchen and dining. Not really one of our go-to sites, to be honest with you, Tim. It's normally the second or third choice for most teams. But here, it's going to be where things kick off. A little bit of work being done up on the top floor. You've got that Azami in the lineup as well. It's quite a... I don't want to say flexible, but it does look like there's quite an ability to play out and around the map here for Outsiders.
We'll be getting underway then. We're heading into our action phase and we can kick things off with game number 1 between Pwns and Outsiders. As you say, not going to be defending the top floor, but will be...
Not going to be defending
the top floor, but in a roundabout way will be defending the top floor. Outsiders wanting to keep hold of that verticality for this kitchen defence. Now then, we've already spoken today about the power of Azami and the increase in pick rate that we're seeing. You know, the mobility of those barricades and just being able to provide cover, create safe spaces has been of great value to defenders so far. And we're we're going to see Azami and Piano just trying to hold on to that area for now.
Absolutely. At least the starting point here on the attacking side is working your way across the entirety of this top floor. So library first, step your way across up towards master and office, get the vertical control, and then look to make your play off the back of that. One thing I will say is you can see throughout your screen here all these little orange outlines that we've got. Don't worry, the players can't see those as well. You can see all the players of outsiders are scattered up towards this north side of the map. So quite a bit of time being invested by opponents here on the south side of the map, at least for now. Surely want to start putting their focus up towards the north. Here we go, 1 minute spent on the south side, and now looking to try and clear Milan, who's playing a spot that normally would be held by someone with the shield on side, but here, of course, with the Azami, you potentially have unlimited shields that you can place yourself behind.
This is great use of the utility and gadgets from outsiders here. They've wasted a ton of utility. We've already seen a Rotero drone burned. We're going to see another one used to clear a barricade that will probably be replaced. We've had a nade sucked in by the Wamai Magnet, and this is all to try and get into Piano. Meanwhile, Nico manages to find a kill onto Smash. So it's going well for outsiders in terms of delaying time, but not in terms of finding kills, because Pawns have managed to get in and get themselves 3 somehow.
Whoever that was on the windows done an absolute field day there as well. Just kills flying out of seemingly nowhere. FMX on the downstairs now pushing his way up on the smoke, but he's going to get himself pincered in. Exodus with a huge 3K in round 1. Once again, Tim, just showing the power of that Finker.
What a start coming in from Pawns. We did speak beforehand about the power of attack on Chalet, about a 68% win rate at the minute. Very, very high in favour of the attackers. So really, Pawns, they have to expect a minimum of a 4-2 here. Anything less than that, they'll consider a loss. So don't necessarily take too much from that first round, but the nature of outsiders play there, like I said, they played around the utility brilliantly. They wasted a lot of time, and particularly a lot of gadgetry in and around Piano. There was Roteros, there was nades, there was all sorts getting wasted there, but they just couldn't hold off from the kills elsewhere.
Just one of those where, even on the window, they knew someone was on the window because they got the freebie in towards bedroom, and then they challenge onto the angle, spray through the barricade, hoping to catch the man, and still lose their life. So just overall, really well played by opponents there. Good aggression, making great use of that double window that ultimately completely shuts outsiders down. Now we go upstairs in towards Master and Office. There is no Azami on side, so as you might expect, we are going to see a shield set up inside of the Piano Hall, in place of where those barricades were earlier on. So someone will sat in behind there. They'll be looking to try and contest down towards the south side, in towards the hallway outside of library. And so again, it's going to feel a lot like last round, only the site this time round is on the upstairs.
And this time outsiders must hold on better in terms of kills from windows, from repels. They can't allow themselves to be bullied like that. Rask is actually going to be playing a little bit more aggressively this time. So last time trying to hold on to top floor, outsiders didn't really play anybody outside or any further than Piano, whereas this time they've got that extension further out. They've got a little bit of gadgetry to try and hold on as well. There's going to be the Wamai Magnets there to just prevent any pressure coming into Mezzanine. But once again, Des Pawns getting inside of the map pretty quickly here.
Well, Milan's just trying to snake his way around here, picking up drones as he goes. Exodus, if he looks out now, is going to say would find the man. It's now a bit of a 1v1, but a mission in on the backside. Great bit of team play. I believe he came in through lobby there, so at the same time they've got one man hitting him from mud, you've got one on the south side. Beautiful bit of team play.
Fantastic work from Pawns, and again, Fabian mentioned the team play that we've seen coming out of them, and you know, as I said, coming into it, we feel like Pawns are on a little bit of an up, and that is despite a couple of losses. They just feel like there's more coming from them, and it continues here. 5 versus 4 as Nico opens up that library. They've got control now, at least, of the south side of the map, and they can start working towards the site itself. There is a man still playing underneath, which is something that they need to be aware of. It's likely Smash with that Nitro in hand, and he could push forward and cause a problem.
Last time around it was FMX who was holding around site, but this time obviously it will be that C4 given the focus is on the upstairs. But I think it was FMX who got droned out last time, was forced to go up through solar stairs instead, so didn't really have a big part in the round. The only time he got to fire his gun was when it was already a 1vx coming out for him, and his team had already fell completely by the wayside. Slow and steady wins the race, supposedly, is the approach coming out from Pawns, but we are down to that last 60 seconds. They've got to clear out some of this critical utility. Nades coming through and looking for another member or two to land these onto. Pasha, you're in the bad spot here, buddy, but keeps himself alive. Down to half HP.
Two good nades from the Finker there, manages to clear a shield, manages to do some damage to Pasha, and then has a little pop around the corner with the Gon 6 and takes out the final deployable shield. So Piano has been softened up now, and there is the potential for a push in there. They've also got the breach opened up. Nico with another fantastic nade play. It was the opener onto Smash last time. This time it's a double in the late round, but Rask, he comes back fighting 35 seconds and he gets himself a double.
2 to go at this point as well. You got Smash who's worked his way back up here. They're double teaming in for a 2v1. They know that one's outside in the balcony and just daring him to come flying in through the window because Pones, they've got that 6th man now joining the Outsiders roster. It is called the clock as we get into the last 20 seconds. Holding up here towards Solo, just daring them to come inside of sight. And I'm pretty sure at this point they have the diffuser in hand on Nico and Mission coming up the backside. The camera's going away. Do they know? Yes, they do, but didn't know where he was for a second. Ras finds the 3. Nico's now getting the diffuser down. They can't stop this one going all the way through. Cider taking a couple of bullets. Diffuser is down, and now Smash and Rask have got to pull up a retake.
Big play from Pawns there, taking the choice to get that diffuser down, leaving themselves in a 2v1 as Nico manages to find Smash. It's all on Rask. He's one bullet away here, and the problem that he's got is that the post plant has been set up. One outside, one mezzanine. The challenge comes in. He somehow manages the quad. Can this be an ace clutch coming out of Rask here? He's going to have to find him, but no! Shut down by Nico.
I tell you what, Tim, you just got to tighten up a little bit there in them dying moments.
There was a minute where you thought...
I mean, let's have a conversation for a second. Cider, what the hell was that? I mean, you've rounded the corner on a man. You've caught him completely by surprise. You whiff all your bullets. You turn your back. You try and lie down. And it's just like, you're giving me a freebie, mate. Thank you very much for the quad kill. Still, it does not give them the round win that they were sorely looking for. A good round by Pones, a good recovery effort, given Ras found that mid-round 3K. But you can't ignore the opener and the 2 nade kills that came out of Nico as well.
Fantastically well played from Pawns, and we're going to see Outsiders mixing things up once again. 3rd round, 3rd site, but no score on the scoreboard yet. They're going to be going to Bar and Gaming this time around. They've got the Frost, which is a common operator on this site. We'll see one under the double window, likely, potentially, I think there might be one in mud of those Frost mats, and then, yes, there it's as if I've watched this before, Des.
How weird.
And then we will have another one going under library window. The reason for that one is just to prevent that push onto blue stairs. There's a deployable shield, there's a Jaeger ADS. They're trying to hold on to that position as much as possible. So they want to create a triangle on the top floor. They're going to have one corner over in blue stairs, one in mezzanine where Rask is now, and possibly another corner inside of library. That one's the sort of hit and miss. It depends on the individual team. You will play it with at least 2 players, sometimes with 3. We'll see what Outsiders choose to go for.
The one thing we're missing is a frost mat on the double window inside a library. And we've seen that. I think it was Leon who vaulted in to try and take a challenge onto someone in that bottom corner and lost his life because he had to shoot the frost mat first and then go for the gunfight. So that not being there does mean they're at risk of someone potentially just vaulting in and trying to go for kills once they've started getting pressure on towards mezzanine. So that's the one thing I'm looking at and thinking, that's all that's really missing here. But the rest of it is the cookie cutter setup for this site through and through.
A mission on the knot, getting onto double window of Master very quickly, see if he could cut off any rotates, anybody trying to move around. There wasn't anybody to be found. It allows Exodus on the Finker, though, to push up aggressively to that piano double door. Holding the angle there for a little bit longer might just have paid dividends, as we saw the man inside of library box just moving around a little bit. But right now, not getting any visuals, and that's a well-placed mute jammer that's going to grab that drone. Rask opens things up with a kill onto Nico. So the 2 entries in round 1 and 2 were both Nico's, but it won't be this time as it's flipped on its head, and that's going to be Nico gone first.
It is, yep. I think here with the pressure coming in from Exodus, they know exactly what they want to achieve, but this is where normally you want a grenade going in through the library single window. Does need support in with some of those flashbangs to burn out the ADS that are present. Otherwise, they're going to find themselves just slowly ground to a halt here and forced to make a less optimal play. There is someone underneath Exodus here as well, so he's got to be super careful. If that's FMX who's holding on to a C4, it's not, it's Pasha, but in comes a mission. They surely know where he is. Find the man, and oh no, Pasha just loses out. Exodus strikes and brings down Ras. That's what you're looking for. A Smash also hits the deck. In a case of 5 seconds, it has fallen apart for Outsiders.
Milan is the next problem for Pawns now. We can see he's got 2 of those those were my magnets, and he's got a few bullets that can be of use as well. Manages to find a headshot onto WTG. Smash is down right now, so we're effectively in a 3v2. One member of Outsiders will fall back. FMX onto site. Milon gets himself another smash, gets collected, and all of a sudden we've got a switcheroo, Des. What was a 3v2 becomes a 2v3 as Outsiders manage to keep themselves fighting here in round 3.
Amisha looking for the backstab as well. Works his way up the stairs here. Does the man behind bar know that he's anywhere near? Surely doesn't quite see his head. Sees the man. What a great shot. A C4 comes in from FMX, and it's a 2v1. Scyther, got to redeem yourself with that terrible 1v1 in the previous round here to bring this one back. But like I spoke about earlier, Tim, they didn't clear out the shield. They didn't burn through the ADSs and get nades in here. That's normally step one in trying to get in towards this site. And very sensibly, the two members of Outsiders have said, look, you're by yourself here. We're back on site. We haven't got to risk trying to hold onto this hole anymore and coming aggressive onto you when you're the one who's got to come to us.
Forcing him to play onto site here and to find kills. Scyther a little bit in two minds, whether to go vertical or whether to drop and take the horizontal challenge. He chooses the latter. He sees one. He gets a headshot. Surely he can't get the second. The man has run. That is the right answer, Milon. Get yourself away. Force that diffuser to go down. There's nothing that Scyther can do in this situation. It's an easy pickup for Milon in the end, but maybe a little bit closer than it maybe should have been.
3K for Milon in the round as well. The two at the top of stairs and that final one to close things out. Good stuff. I will draw it back again to Pones, though, and look at how they approached that setup entirely. There were no nades that really came singing in towards shields, frost mats, ADSs. Both shields were still left standing, and it's one of those that you look at and just go, boys, you've got like 6 nades on side. You've got a sledge, you've got a Finker, you've got a Nook, you've got so much here, plus 6 flashbangs. You should be chewing through that utility for fun. And like I said, that should be step one in trying to move these defenders around. You know this setup, you've seen it 1,000,001 times. And why they choked such a critical, go-to attack onto this site, I'm just really quite perplexed by.
As you say, with that many nades on site, there's no way with
no reason.
No way with 30 seconds to go, they should still be playing into a deployable shield at the top of blue stairs. That, like you say, should have been a thing of the past. But we're going to move on, and Outsiders will go back to their initial rotation. Having won only bar and gaming, they go now to kitchen and dining. I don't think it can be as bad as it was last time around. I would expect something a little bit better from Outsiders this time around. Pawns just ran over them on this site. They managed to pick up the opener with Nico on a frag, and then after that it was just all from the window players, cutting off defenders as they tried to move. It was a bit of a nightmare for Outsiders, really. There was absolutely no safety to be found, and Pawns, they're going to be looking to bring that same sort of intensity.
As they should be as well. Normal hole coming through here towards this top side too, just to kick things off. You know the full well that's exactly where the assault is going to begin. And no doubt for the side opponents, with Scyther at least on this side of the building, I imagine we're going to see a start towards Libya for at least a couple of them and slowly start moving their way across.
Nico just taking the peek in through Library, wanting to get himself established, just very aware that he can hear barricades being shot out, likely his teammates, and just decides it's time to dip a drone in there ahead of Exodus and try and feed a bit of information. Exodus taking down that default cam, just pinging out the fact that the wall is reinforced. It just gives a little bit more security to the players in this side of office there. They know that it's going to take some hard breach utility to open that up, which gives them in turn a little time warning that the pressure is going to be mounting. So for the time being, Rask, he's pretty safe in staying on that office door.
I'm not entirely sure. I think they were impacting all this, and I was like, what are you guys trying to go for? Because there were no Selmas down on the wall at the time of the first one. I think maybe it was a mistake by Milon getting a little bit too keen, is the only way I can really describe it, with those impacts, chucking the Pokeballs out. Rask taking a challenge on towards the balcony. Lucky WTG not to be found out too early on here. That would have been a real kicker, because then their breach to get through these walls would have been missing from the team. Now they're still turning their focus on trying to push their way through. Nico challenging himself up towards this shield corner and trying to hope that someone just peeks their head round the corner. But simply so far, Outsiders aren't biting.
Pawns had a similar problem last time of getting through these defences. I spoke of how well Outsiders used that utility to burn what Pawns could bring to the table, and Pawns were able to find kills around it, but this time it's not looking quite the same. We're going to see one shield, nope, not taken down. The Gon 6 will burn the ADS, and then the shield will be taken down. We still have keeper barricades in position, but Amishan, he manages to find the opener, leaving us now 5 versus 3 as Scyther gets Milon, and the pressure is mounting across this top floor again. Pawns, once they get moving, Des, are very difficult to stop.
They are, and they've also got Pasha down 5v2. Yeah, what do you do about that? And it's Again, that sign of once they got the shield cleared out and they could start marching forward, that's when things change. Smash has seen a man come across. He's waiting for the opportunity. He sees the man. Instant headshot onto Exodus. Springs up with the shotgun. Daring one more. He's got the right idea, but Nico lands one hell of a shot and puts him in the dirt. FMX left alone. Finds one. This is real bad deja vu of round one, and it ends the same way. 3 members left standing for the attackers, and Outsiders down another round.
Yep, not even kind of close for the defenders there. They held on longer than last time around before they started losing bodies, but ultimately that push from Pawns across the top floor is well orchestrated, well oiled, and did its job. They were able, as soon as the key for Outsiders almost there in that defence is not moving, because as soon as they start getting moved, particularly back towards Solar, that is when they start dropping, because Pawns have got every angle covered.
I feel that they're at the whimsy of Pwns, though, because the one thing that really triggered Pwns to go in that round was the nade that came through onto that shield on the top corner of Piano Hall. They didn't really care so much about the Azami barricade because they knew that she wasn't playing there, but it was the shield itself, and when that was removed away, that's when Exodus starts moving. That's when they push in through balcony, for example. That is when Outsiders say, right, boys, time to pull back now. We've lost our main defences. Let's get back down to site. But on the way there, they're just cut apart by the attackers. So for Pwns, as you saw in the round they've lost so far, if they don't manage to clear out the critical parts of the setup of Outsiders, that's when they fall apart. When they can coordinate as a team and get rid of crucial bits of utility, like the shield that's going down now, that is when they start marching forward. So it sounds weird saying this, but the round literally spins on the dime of the shield. So keep a close eye on what happens to that shield, as it will have a big impact.
Heading into the action phase then, round number 5, and so far so good for Pawns. 3-1 on the scoreboard and looking very comfortable on the attack. Milon just going to disappear off into mud there, and that could be a little bit of a test of the Pawns drone machine and how well they go about. Now then, I think Scyther opens up mud window a little bit there, but I'm not sure whether he's convinced of the position of Milon inside or whether he was just shooting through as habit, because he doesn't seem to have stuck with that challenge. It is going to allow Milon to escape potentially here, but I think they've just seen him on the drone at the bottom of the long corridor.
Ras finds Nico the same as he did back in round 3, so a repeat of what we saw earlier on, no doubt. I think Exodus here is the one on the hunt on the prowl. He knows that Milon's been working his way around here. Normally where Exodus goes, he has got a drone at his feet. Not right now, but Milon has already dipped absolutely miles away. He's off in Narnia at this point, whilst Exodus is still stuck in front of the wardrobes. The drone's coming on the top floor, much the same as before. They want to make sure they've got control on the southwest side and then stage a lateral push rather than worrying about what's going on below.
Got WTG positioned on office door at the minute with diffuser in hand. That's quite an aggressive position. Not worrying too much about the breach immediately. Looking to maybe manoeuvre now. There we go. Thank you, WTG. Gets himself inside of the window. It's almost as if he hears my concern about his positioning and how aggressive he is on the thermite. But he gets himself the breach done, so that is a good step. One side is going to send in the Rotero drone now, looking for that shield, as you said, Des. He's surely likely to get it. There we go. Pasha can't find his shots as he tries to peek around the corner onto the little remote control car that was coming his way. And this is the next big challenge. Exodus with a beautiful nade.
I'm kind of concerned as to why Smash is stood there. Like, you know they want the wall open. You've heard the exothermic go on it. You know that a nade is going to follow through the gap at the top. But no, you just stay put and get yourself naded out. Now you can see the utility coming in as well. It's like missiles firing back and forth. The Sophia impact clearing out more utility, and this is where the march forward stops. Beautiful bait from the forest, but Pasha still finds the kill. Elsewhere, Emission gets one back, mind you. So yet again, it's a numbers advantage to Pwns in a 3v2, make it a 3v1 as a questionable window jump out doesn't yield any returns. WTG sticking on the plan here as well. It's a 1v3 coming out for Pasha.
He gets 2 of them, Des. That is just turned this round on its head. The big positive for Pawns here is that diffuser did go down. WTG was able to lock that in. He takes damage. He knows he's on the piano window. Stop peeking him, Scyther. Pasha, he's pushing. He knows where he is. He finds the man 1v3. He just needs to go and find the diffuser. It's going to take a matter of seconds. And what a turnaround from Pasha. Scyther, maybe just a little bit too aggressive on that piano window.
Woo! Pasha with the passion. You love to see it. It's been a long time since we've really seen Pasha fly. That's the kind of result you want to see. Maybe not in the kind of situation you want him to be in. A 1v3 post plant, you should not be winning that. That is solely on Pwns exposing themselves and getting a bit too aggressive. You were right when I saw Cider peeking him. I was like, yeah, he knows where you are. He's about to quick peek you. Get out of that window. And to give Cider credit, that's exactly what he did. He did the right thing. But then round came Pasha going aggressive onto him and just absolutely bit his backside off. Great play coming out from Pasha. But I look at those couple of rounds and again, Pin, a lot of it down to mistakes coming out from Pwns, not clearing out those shields onto the bar gaming attack last time. In that round then, losing a 3v1. What's that all about? That shot,
Beautiful.
by the way. Like I say, the bait attempt was great, but Pasha's reaction was even better.
Pasha's just absolutely turned them inside out. Look at this. So easy. The thing is, they don't know where he is. I think that's the key there. Mission and WTG don't know where Pasha is, and he just takes full advantage of that to find his kill. Cider gets caught out, having a little look in through the window and straight in to Pasha's ADS. And ultimately, it's ended up with the round going in the direction of Outsiders. What a play from Pasha. Take a bow, and that leaves us in round 6. Pwns' final attack, and they want this one, Des. They need that 4-2.
They do. I feel Pwns, given how they play when they haven't mucked it up, deserve it, to be honest, as well. The big difference in this round is going to be seeing how they approach it. And this is my favourite thing to analyse in Siege games, is when you've seen a round once, and you're going, okay, then cool, we know how that's now played out. When you see it come back round again, what changes? What operators have changed? How's their approach transformed? So again, the big one for me here is going to be those shields. The ones on Mez and the ones in Library. You've got to get rid of those two shields, otherwise it's going to bite you.
Exodus straight into the top floor. Something that we've seen Pwns do well so far is play across the top floor with aggression, taking map control, recognises that the shield is there. Big question this time, Des, can they deal with that shield better at the top of Blue Stairs? It wasn't aggressive enough last time. They didn't get the job done. They didn't get it cleared out. And yes, they've got it done almost immediately. So, great adaptation from Pwns there, recognising part of the problem last time around and getting it dealt with.
But still, you've got players on the downstairs. And so far, Pwns haven't really gone to challenge them on the downstairs. But what they have done is constantly have drones following them about. They know that Pasha's playing on the Jaeger. They know he's not going to C4 them out. What they're looking for really is FMX on the C4s, as we've seen a couple of times. He has found a single C4 kill in the half so far, so it's a fair thing to be concerned by. But here you can see Pasha on the downstairs taking a couple of dances back and forth with drones, whilst the rest of Pwns just ignore the underworld that sits underneath them and keep on pushing forward. Ras finding WTG, good start.
An excellent start there. Outsiders could be looking at a 3-all defence, and honestly, with the way that both teams have played, you'd have to say that it was a little bit surprising if that's what happens. Now then, Mission, he knows he's there. He just can't quite make the challenge. Look at this. This is an absolute sliver of a pixel that he can see, but it doesn't matter because while that time is being burnt, Pasha continues and manages to get himself a kill. Rask onto Exodus, and this is going to be a 3-3 half for Outsiders here, and they're going to feel like they've absolutely stolen this one, surely. It's been a great performance, at least in round 5 and 6 from them, and they have lit up at the right time.
It's just really standing onto the claims made before that Pwns are a map-based team. You put them on one of their top 2 or 3 maps, they'll absolutely fly. But here again, shields are left standing. They've got rid of one, but the Mez player still stays in place. They have not got rid of these power positions, Tim, and it's really giving Outsiders a massive advantage. The scoreline, well, not the scoreline, but so much the more the standings in this round really going to show that as well. It was a 5v2. It's been brought down to a 2v2. Hello? How has that happened? But still, can he clutch it out? No, he can't, because Tim, shock horror, a shield impedes him.
Not been dealt with, as you say, or at least not consistently enough across the map. A few were, a few weren't, and ultimately it just makes it very difficult. It was a 2v1, they'll likely win that anyway, but Outsiders using their utility to the full. And that's going to see us at the half, level pegging 3-3, and nothing to separate these two as we go into the attacking phase for Outsiders. As we said, coming into the game overall, we expected the attackers to have the better of things here. Pwns showed us that at the beginning, going 3-1 up at one point, but unable to keep the foot on the gas, unable to keep that momentum. They find themselves now being reeled back in by Outsiders, and if Outsiders can find the same sort of success on attack, take the first couple of rounds, all of a sudden Pwns are looking at a 5 versus 3 deficit on the scoreboard, and it becomes a little bit of a nightmare.
I'm just looking back again at how things have shaped up and just looking at how 2 of the rounds Outsiders have won. They've won by 1 man, i.e. they had 1 left alive when it came to the round-winning moment. And I'm just thinking, yeah, Pwns are going to be kicking themselves, because this could have been a 5-1, for example, right now. They could have absolutely stormed their way through this half, but a couple of times have really let themselves down, have let Pasha and Milan run riot, getting 3Ks and 4Ks, including that 1v3. Just little things like that. So for Outsiders, you've got battered about on a map that many would consider attackers to have a good advantage on. So you'll give them that. Now is Outsiders' time to shine and show, okay, Pones, maybe you could have had a 5-1 here, but we're going to show you why that was a massive mistake to lead this at 3-3, and we'll see how much work they can do in the second half.
Pasha straight up to the building line.
Where's your ARX, bro?
Don't worry about that, Des.
I'm worrying about it.
Pasha's going to show us. I've got faith in Pasha at the minute after those performances he's shown us in the last couple of rounds. Collects his drone, and he's going to continue heading on up to that balcony. That's going to be his position to add a little bit of pressure from. He's got Millon on the rooftop as well. We've got air jabs being deployed. That's going to be to prevent run-outs onto the repelling players. And for the time being, Pasha is just aware of the potential for a peek coming out of that library window. Exodus, he runs past it. He's not going to bother having a look himself, but let's see if Pawns can do a better job of keeping hold of the top area of this map, of this top floor, than Outsiders were able to.
I think there's a slight repositioning of their setup as well. I've just heard them move a shield on the downstairs here to be more north-facing, probably aware that, okay, we've caught a couple of members on this north side. Drones are circling around up there as well. Let's angle some of our defense up towards that side, and it wouldn't be a bad idea. You can see Outsiders just scurrying all over this north side, all over Solar and Trophy like a bunch of ants at this point, just trying to find these angles, waiting for members to peek out. But so far, Pones being disciplined and not exposing themselves.
We have a breach and then a counter breach as the Keeper barricade goes out to block off the line of sight that was opened up by the Hibana. And the next Kairos pellets will continue doing their work to ensure that those Solar window players have got the lines of sight that they need. It's going to allow Rask into the top floor. He can start challenging forward, but needs to be careful because he might come face to face with a shotgun here. Comes around the corner, manages to find the Azami, can't find the peak. There's absolutely no idea. Tucked in nice and tight though. Is there going to be sufficient cover? I think there is. FMX manages to get WTG though. That's the opener.
And that's what they wanted as well. That was the shotgun player holding tight, so a good bit of play coming out here from Outsiders on their slow march forward. They were impeded by mute jammers, by the way. They're only down to a couple of drones. Yes, they've got that vertical control, but have now got to start thinking about the site itself. Pones have moved almost entirely off as well. They've got a couple of members down towards the southwest side, so they're not even involved in vertical play. They're not on the site itself. They're not challenging above the site. This just screams to me a flank is on the cards.
Yeah, they haven't really dealt with Exodus yet. We'll see exactly what's in place to prevent him moving back through Piano and finding some kills here. At the minute, it's pretty much a one-man job as they have Sledge just opening things up. And if that drone is not spotted out, this is going to be a death wish for Nico. He's trying to push himself forward. It's as easy as that. Rask managing to get one, flips to the pistol, can't find a second. But FMX, he's on hand for the trade. And that leaves us now 4v2 in a passage of play that Outsiders will happily take every single day. We've got utility flooding in, but with only 10 seconds left to go, it is unlikely that Pawns can hold on here. 2 versus 3. FMX getting the diffuser down. There is an injury along the way. It's effectively 1v2. Just trying to finish off anybody who might be inside a kitchen, prevent that diffuser going down, but it's too late.
If anyone can do it, Emision can though. Sat quite healthily so far at 10 and 5 in the game. Knows loosely where they are. Must have that idea that one's in West Main. Now sees the man on that quick peek out as well. Got a little bit of info coming in for Cider, at least for now. Steps across into the firing line. Outsiders find themselves around and pull ahead.
First time so far in this matchup as well that we see Outsiders managing to get themselves the advantage on the scoreboard. 4-3 now as they take Kitchen and Dining, and it just sends a little bit of a warning shot to Pawns. If you remember, at the flip of the half, I did say if Outsiders come in and have a similar attacking start to that which we saw from Pawns, which was 2 back-to-back rounds, it leaves them 5-3 up and looking comfortable for a potential victory here. So for me, this is a super important round for Pawns here. They don't want to allow Outsiders that distance. Not only does it put them 5-3 up, it will also be 4 rounds in a row. So, Pawns, it's time to put the brakes on. It's time to stop whatever Outsiders try to bring.
You've literally touched on my point I was going to make there, Tim. Let's not forget Pawns were 3-1 up. Now it's 4-3 to Outsiders. Pawns just not able to get around for anything at this point. Now, this is really interesting. This I'm excited to see, because think about the main criticism back in that first half was Pawns just weren't very good at clearing out the shields, at clearing out basic utility for sites like these. These shields are everything for this site, and that is normally why you'll see attackers wage war over trying to get them cleared out. And you know what? Sometimes they won't always be successful, but they should absolutely be the go-to focus. And looking on the attacking side here, you've got 4 nades, you've got a Gon 6, you've got 6 flashbangs, you've got Selmas if you've got to chunk through those, you've got lots of stuff you can use, plus the Flores. There's no mute on the other side. There's only a Wamai on side. There is no reason why Outsiders should not have these shields cleared away.
Nico might just find himself challenged by that upside down rappel. No, the man climbs away onto rooftop. So Nico just getting away
Onto
with
rooftop,
one there. Onto rooftop. Des, I'm saying the word there.
Not.
It's just too quick for you to hear.
Every time it gets me.
You love it.
Here we go. On that march forwards through the top floor, much like what we saw at Opponents again. So starting up on the north side on Solar, sweeping your way across, clearing out those who might be on extended hold. So good droning coming through as well. Good discipline being shown so far by the attackers, not wanting to spring their way forwards. Milan almost finding a head there onto the man. I think it was Nico that ran back behind the shield. Again, I'm looking towards when those nades start flying in and what the clear starts to look like here. More drone work coming through. Outsiders so far proving to be a little bit slower than what we saw out of Pones, but when it comes around to the execution, it does feel just as sharp.
Yep, starting to push forward now, getting access in towards Mezzanine. That is the area, or the two areas that they want to be locking down here. They need Mezzanine and they need top of Library Stairs. That should force the defenders back to site. Pones not ready to give it up just yet. We do hear a bulletproof camera. It's positioned out in main lobby and it's going to keep shooting out those EMP blasts to try and take down the drones, but it's as easy as that to clear out that shield, and that was something that Pawns weren't able to do quite as efficiently. Pasha manages to open things up, one onto WTG, and that leaves us now in a 5v4, but Exodus still in a difficult position, needs to be dealt with, finds himself one, but the trade is there.
Absolutely. Oh, so unfortunate not to see the man on double window at first. He must have saw the black outline of his leggings, but no, didn't take the shot, didn't spot it in time. Nades flying through, and this is the kind of clear I was talking about. They've forced the shield player away. They've now got an angle of getting themselves inside, and they've still got these drones starting to roll through. It's good pressure coming out of outsiders, Tim. I'm just curious about the time here as we get towards that last 45.
He's in. Trying to hold on to Mezzanine. He's going to find himself challenged from the flank, so he moves away. As you say, very fortunate to get himself back onto site where my Magnets will be positioned to try and prevent that final push that might come in from the fireplace. Rask, he's there. He's ready. He has no nades to play in through there, so he's going to be looking for kills purely with the weapon side. The manages to get Mill on. Sees his man, but can't find him. Almost gets served up something from behind the bar there as Amision peeks out and takes a lot of damage to Rask. Smash manages to find Nico. 2 versus 2, 2 versus 2 as kills continue to rain in around sight. 12 seconds left to go, and Pawns might just hold on here. Des Sider, Amision finding one each. Amision with a double at the end, and that is going to be Pawns locking things up. And once again, this continues as that tight match that we knew it was going to be.
There was someone looking at this game at the start of the day just like, oh, you know, it's not that exciting a game. I was like, but it is, because these two teams, you've got, you know, Pawns on the rapid rise and the start of this stage, they looked absolutely tragic. And then you look at outsiders who many thought, oh, they could be a top 4 contender here, have now sort of found themselves coasting in that 6th to 7th place position. And this was really, again, the story for me of which of these two teams would rise above the other. And it being at a 4-4 scoreline, does it feel too early to say overtime could be on the cards? Because for me, with how these rounds are going, it very well could be.
With us, overtime is always on the cards. We're going to be heading down to basement this time around. This was... Correct me if I'm wrong, this was the site that I got a little bit angry on in...
No, not angry. You never get angry, just passionate.
True, very passionate. Playday 1, and it was Pawns defending it. And my frustration, thank you very much, Mr. Observer, was exactly that hatch there in Dan, and it was reinforced. It allowed the attacking team to get themselves in through the rear side of the map into Wine Cellar, got the diffuser down, and it was not all around that hatch necessarily, but 80-90% was allowed by the fact that hatch was closed off and reinforced. They've left it soft this time, so it gives them an opportunity to play somebody out in the map and therefore to have that threat that they might push onto it. Exodus manages to find Rask, and that is already a better start to defending this site than we saw Pawns have last time they tried.
Can we stop beating up the desk? It did nothing to you.
It's just excitement, Des. It's passion.
Just don't hit me when you get excited.
It's too passionate.
I'm waiting for it to go from the desk to my head like,
yes,
come on, it's amazing. I'll be like, Tim, calm down, mate. Come on, come on. Still, wonderful start to get, because also you removed away the Flores there. The one that you're looking at as being a big remover of a lot of the utility. The Banshees, for example, no doubt would spot a bunch of the cat cans on the march through, ADSs, you name it. Plus also removing away things like any soft surfaces that you might need to clear out. Now they have no real soft destruction available to them. They've of course got the nades on side, but that's not really what you think of when you think of getting through soft walls or through floors, for example. That normally would be Flores' go-to speciality. Here we got Sider looking to challenge up in towards Solar. Outsiders, I think, have already started to establish established that they like coming in from solo side. Think back to round 7, that was where the whole thing began.
They've got a decision to make now of pawns, and that is how much do they hold on to this top floor. Don't forget, they're defending down in basement. This is all about wasting time. You don't really want to burn a lot of lives up here. They've got themselves the advantage. If they can get back safely, then it's not the end of the world to at least drop back to the mid floor, burn another 30 seconds, drop back to site. That is absolutely fine. The push is coming here from Pasha across top floor, and they need to make a decision as to whether they take this challenge. Days, they do exactly the right thing. Forget dropping back, Exodus. Get in their faces.
Oh, this nade coming over the top, though. If Exodus dips away at the right time, I think he is here as he moves towards the other window. Has support from Emission as well. Scyther finally shut down. He should have never, ever had a chance of getting out there alive. And Outsiders at least proved that because Milan had the cut. He stepped away here and towards Mud, and I'm sure Smash must know about this as he gets pushed onto quite aggressively. And there we go. Exodus has now stepped his way across in towards Baron Gaming, joined up with Emission. I love how well they're playing the map here, Tim.
What a rotate as well. That's one that you can use in your ranked. Get that opened up.
Oh, that'll be on Tim Tot later.
I was basically going to say he's got himself a little bit stuck here on that side of the map, but by opening up that soft wall, it shows the beauty of Siege. There's always a solution to every problem. He gets himself that option to get back to site safely, away from Smasher's line of sight. They've got the rear side opened up. 30 seconds left to go. They have to open up this wall. They have to clear pillars, and then they can start thinking about getting a diffuser down. But they have to think about the hatch from above and that they don't suffer. So Smash has to stay up there. They've got 2 players to work on this now, realistically.
They've got 2 players. Oh, the C4 comes out as well, but Nico will know about this. Surely he just sprays in the smoke. Yes, he does, but he's looking the wrong way. Look towards your right, son. He's got no idea where he is. And Milan picks up a kill. He looks around. It's chaos. He did the call to the right. He's on the deck. It's a 1v2 for Emission. Literally, once the smoke and dust settles, somehow Outsiders are in control, and they should be able to close this out. Yes, they can. How on earth opponents let that one go, Tim? What a round!
I'm so upset for Pawns. They did everything right. They left the hatch soft. They played off in the map beautifully. They got themselves 2 kills. They were 5v3. They even, because the hatch was soft, as I said, Smash had to continue playing upstairs because otherwise you just get a flank up, potentially library stairs that moves through into dining, and they open up the hatch and they spoil your party when you're trying to put the diffuser down. So they have to leave a man on the mid floor. So then it comes down to that plant with only 2 players. And the thing is, it shows why time and time again I bang on about the push from that rear side. Open trench wall, open west main wall, because with even just 2 players actively there, you can still get the diffuser down. They didn't even deal with pillar other than put in a smoke there. I desperately feel for Nico on the Kaid inside that smoke. Disoriented, couldn't find his man. If he drops the diffuser there, if one of those hipfire bullets drops the diffuser, round is won.
Yep, but they didn't, Tim.
Oh, Pawns.
Now, here's an interesting one for you. We're going back to the same site once again, and Outsiders have completely changed their lineup as well. So I say that, and then they basically change fully back to the last lineup. Ignore what I said. Literally with 5 seconds to go, they're like Nomad, Nook, Hibana, Finker, Sledge. I'm like, oh wow, that's a massive change. Like literally 1 operator remains from the last round. What are they going to do? And then in the last 3 seconds, all change back to the original. They're just trolling me at this point, Tim.
Very possibly thought it was somewhere else. If they were bringing the Nomad, they may have been thinking they were going to play double window repel. They might not have recognised the site at that point, and then the switch comes in after they find it.
Is it the same roam?
Yeah.
Same roam.
It is the same roam. Honestly, I think that Pawns are absolutely right to do the same thing again here. It worked well. It was a nice defense. It kept Outsiders guessing. They have to play it, they have to rely on getting those couple of picks, which they did last time around. They've brought this time the Mozzie instead of the Capcan, so Scyther can deny a lot more utility in terms of the drones coming through. But he, again, needs to just manage his life carefully here and not give it away.
I think he's got the right idea. He's kind of half escaped the angle that got him killed last time round. He's still exposed to Milan, who last time at least was playing piano window and cutting him off. Now trying to move his way back. No, Milan's not there this time. So he's managed to get himself over this kind of safe haven point down towards the south side. And I was going to say, I thought that was a man coming for a swing. Caught me, fooled me. Yeah, got that one. But either way, they're now marching forwards. And at the very least, Pones have kept all members alive, at least for now. This Mutant Mozzie are really going to impede this attack coming forward from Outsiders, given the lack of information they'll have.
Yeah, it's got going so far. This is exactly what we're talking about. They're slowing them down. They've kept their lives. They've burnt half of the clock. Fantastic. But with 30 seconds left to go, Outsiders were still able, and only 2 men actively on the execute, were still able to get that job done. Look at who is down there waiting, Des. FMX is there on the thermite. He's ready to go into trench at a moment's notice and start getting them open. Smash is going to be the one playing inside of dining to try and cover off that hatch and prevent any flank getting back onto it and getting control of that. So Outsiders, they still look okay here.
Where's he going with this? Oh, taking the Banshee right inside of there as well, so they won't know exactly if he's planting in there. That smoke comes out again. They might well just get away with this. And, okay. I'm not entirely sure on the game plan there, boys, but okay. Nico finds the opener onto Milan. I think they were trying to... It was a weird kind of like impact, but also not impact at the same time, which also then destroyed the Electro Claw. So question mark, question mark, question mark.
We're going to have the Maverick working on that rear side wall. They need to get this open, really, because it is one of the big points of cover. You want to hold down towards Connector. You can also hold down towards Blue from there. As it is, they're just going to pump some nades in. They're not ready to quite get that diffuser down yet, but that is a beauty onto WTG. It gives FMX the opportunity to get inside, and that's the cover that I'm talking about. Pasha can just hold that angle.
God.
He gets one on each. Des, I mentioned Connector, I mentioned Blue. He shuts them both down. Smash manages to find Exodus 4v1, and this is a great execute from Outsiders.
And they've got the vertical again, but twice now they've walked into it. Surely for Pones, you have that conversation about it's time to change away, boys. Twice we've been hit by the same execute, and twice we could not find the answer.
It's the difficulty with that site. I've been a lot more positive around Pones' defense of it there, because I feel like they have done the right things. They have had men out in the map. They have left the hatch soft. They have played to be able to try and challenge that retake, but it still goes to show when you do things right, it's still quite an easy attack. It can be done with 2 or 3 players. You need minimal lines of sight. And as soon as Pillars is gone, if you can control hatch, there is barely anything that can be done to prevent a plant. And you've just seen why. Pasha, from a single Maverick line, gets a killing Connector, gets a killing Blue corridor, nobody can push forward. And that is why, because that one player at the bottom of West Main Stairs for the attack is pivotal.
Whew. I mean, Pones call. This is the thing I always get frustrated by as well. Is calling timeouts when you're at 1 round to go. You've got to get the next 2 rounds on the board to even make it to overtime, let alone actually have a chance at winning the game. Outsiders very much have that momentum with them. 5 rounds in the last 6 they've now won, and Pones are no doubt scratching their heads trying to think of ideas. Thank God we don't go back to the same site. We are going to Bar and Gaming, but it does mean in the round after, Tim, they've either got to go to Matter and Office that they haven't played yet, Kitchen and Dining, which they've already lost, or Snowmobile that they've already now lost twice. So this is really the only safe haven. Round 12, they've got to think of something special.
That's assuming that they get this one done, Des.
Yeah, it was close last time.
It was close, and with the way that Outsiders are going at the minute, you just feel like they've got the bit between the teeth. You know, they know that there's the potential for a win on the cards here, and they know how important 3 points is going to be at the end of things, at the end of the year. Outsiders have struggled so far, and points have not been sort of freely coming, so anything they can grab, you know that they're going to take a hold of it with both hands. And right now, we've got the top floor setup that we would expect. We've got a Banshee placed out in main lobby, which I kind of like, but I don't think it's going to have too much impact. It's likely to be shot out and dealt with reasonably easily if the push comes into that sort of area, but there you have it. Exodus is getting down there. This is the thing. We'll keep an eye on Exodus on the Azami, because I don't know exactly where he's going to be playing. At the minute, he's set up inside a main lobby. He's next to the Banshee that's been played, and I'm just wondering if they're going to try to hold on to this with a little bit more fervour and just try and use those keeper barricades to play from behind.
Well, I was looking at the scores for a moment ago, looking at the league table.
Oh!
He sees the man, but no way, exposes himself there. You can see in the top right corner of your screen the impact of this game. It's worth stressing. Pones are on 3 points, Outsiders on 4. So neither team can really climb and push into that top 4 as a result of winning this game, but it does put Outsiders within striking distance. They'd be 1 point behind Heroic, who currently sit in 4th place.
It's all about the foundations, isn't it? It's, as we say so many times, winning is a habit. You get this one, you might just get a few more on the back of it, and then all of a sudden you could be surprising people and be in contention for one of those spots. We're going to have Smash getting himself up onto the rooftop as the attackers here are still just jostling for position a little bit. We've seen this position used an awful lot on the double door of Piano with the Finker coming in there. It's Milon this time around, and he's going to be looking to make that challenge, or support the challenge at least, on to the shield at the top of Blue Stairs, just using a horrible angle there.
Too easy.
We saw this successful last time. The Finker just blasts a few shots through the windows. It prevents Nico pushing up, and it allows the Rotero to clear out the shield.
Yeah, no comfortable challenge either. No one can really support him in that position. These drones just keep on coming in as well. Another Flores drone coming out with one shield already gone. They've got nades still in touch. They've got flashbangs, Tim. Again, compared this back to Pones in the first half and how they struggle to do this with even more utility just speaks volumes to outsiders and how comfortable they feel in getting through these setups. Flashbangs coming in. Shield. A nade should follow through not long after. And there we go. Shield gone. And at the same time, they also collect WTG. Wonderful start coming out for outsiders.
Practically perfect, really. Like you say, getting clear of the utility, picking up the opener, picking up the secondary. As Milon manages to find a mission with the LMG, that's going to put him down. Nico is also down but not out. The challenge comes through, but there's nothing can be done. Flawless round as Milon and FMX pick up those final kills, and that is going to be outsiders taking what ultimately looked like a convincing win on Chalet. But you got to feel for Pawns a little bit. They had some great passages of play in there.
The problem is for Pawns now, that's been 2 games in a row where you feel, oh, they've played well here and actually could have got more if they just won that 1 or 2 rounds. But look back at the first half. It was 3-3. And we said, oh, well, there's 2 rounds there where you've lost by literally a single man or by missing a single angle or giving Pasha a 1v3 is a wonderful example. It could have been 5-1. But outsiders, they held on. I thought their second half was much more convincing.
Yes.
Very good at clearing through utility. Very good at achieving the objectives they set for themselves in the round. Still a little bit slow like we've seen in previous weeks, and that is kind of one of my concerns for them. But against these weaker teams, I think you'll see outsiders keep on picking up points.
I think there's definitely a possibility there. You know, whether Pawns can manage to get anything going before the end of the stage, I feel like this could be a blow for them. They've felt like they've been improving, and then it still doesn't work for them against a team they might have thought we can get something. Could be a tough blow.
I think at this point for them, it's a battle around relegation, right? Any points you can pick up this stage are going to be helpful. Coming into stage 3, you've had a bit more time to build the team out. They've got the elements of a good team, but they really need to work with the coach to tighten things up here. So I'm hoping the rest of this season and the off-season is used for that ahead of what's going to be a very tough stage for Pawns. But for outsiders, major now may yet still be a possibility. Future Playdays will tell. We'll go to a quick break. When we come back, Tim and the analysts will break this down for you.